Hi, this is Scott Marker, and this is another episode of Treasure Valley Quick Tips. What this podcast is I'm a franchise owner of a network and action franchise. I've been doing it for over 6 years, and it's out of Houston, Texas. And I lead up three groups of local, high caliber business owners and that are experts in their field. And I bring them on this podcast to share their expertise with my listeners. And today is a perfect example of someone who my parents love. Jay, introduce yourself.
Hey, Gomez, MAAK Services.
Awesome. So, hey, tell us, first of all, Max Services, where'd that name come from?
So we're a family owned company, and that comes from my four kids, Michaela, Aaliyah, Austin, and Colton.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, hey, okay. So, your business, what is it? What's your main thing you do?
Majority of the work that we do is predominantly just interior and exterior paint, whether it's
Okay.
residential or commercial. We do a lot of repairs. That's where we're kind of a little bit different from most painting companies. But every project pretty much ends with painting.
So, yeah, painting's the key. So, yes, we'll do it, some other stuff, but painting has to be involved.
Exactly. I generally I don't like taking on like full on remodels and all that other stuff unless there's a lot of painting involved, you know.
Okay. Okay, so that's the go-to. So, hey, how'd you come into this business? How did you become, your
So
company?
I am a second generation contractor. My dad was a general contractor out of the state of California. And I kind of was born and raised into that. I mean, I was on job sites at 8 or 9 years old, running a wheelbarrow around and picking up
Wow.
garbage throughout the jobs. Um, Pretty much my whole childhood, all the way up until my dad had passed away when I was about 21 years old. And that's kind of how I got involved in it and kind of stayed in
Wow.
it. My dad was more on the big additions and like doing second story additions and all that. That wasn't for me. I mean, I didn't care for that section. I love the ending part of what we do. I love the walking in and seeing what the customer's dream is about doing in their home, whether it's interior or exterior. Um, I just had a customer the other day that mentioned that they were just going to go with the same colors on the exterior, and I just said, man, this is why would you want to do that? Let's make it so you're driving up to a new house, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I love that part of what we do is hopefully making it to where when they walk into their home or when they drive up to the garage, it feels like a new home. And that's what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again, that's like I'm the type person like with my wife, do you like this dress? Do you like this shirt? I need to see it on her, you know what I mean? And so like how do you help people like select paint?
So first we go off of what's if it's exterior, it's simple, you got to go outside, go look, see
Okay.
if they have any stone, any brick. And then we kind of go off of those colors. Sherwin-Williams has books where you could open the books and I could find like a stone color and open the book and we could see what colors go with that stone color and stuff like
Okay.
that. It's just past experience of doing that. A lot of painting companies won't take the time. They just want to tell you, hey, just go figure out your colors and just send them to me because I don't
Right.
have time for that. That's where I think I also separate myself from others. I love spending the time with the client and trying to figure out those colors. And we've been known to put 7, 8 different 10 colors on a wall outside for them to figure out, a body and a
Oh,
trim and
cool.
an accent. It's yeah, we do it all the time.
No, that's awesome because that's a big thing. I mean, it transforms the way your house looks.
100%. And it's a big investment, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You're spending some money. You're not buying a pair of jeans.
Yep.
So it's a big investment and you got one shot to make it right, to make it look good.
Yeah.
My biggest thing that I tell my clients is we don't want to paint your house, and you go, yeah, I like it, it's okay. No, no, I love it. Gosh, I can't believe how great it looks. That's what we're looking for when we finish a project. Yeah, that's
That
probably the most important thing. I love it.
that is great. So like
When I
what
hear,
huh? Go
go
ahead.
ahead,
No,
go
you go
ahead.
ahead.
when I hear the, oh, I have to get used to it. Nope, we're changing colors. It's on my dime. Let's just do it. What do we need to change that you don't like? Well, I don't like the trim color. Okay, let's fix that. So I have to have. I love it. So yeah.
Man, and I love that too. So that's perfect. So like, I know you said you did, um, exterior and interior paint, but like, so do you have any like specialties you consider yourself at in painting?
Yeah, so there's a lot of times, especially during the winter, we're pretty big on this, where a client will call in and, they're gonna go, back east on a vacation for Thanksgiving, and they'll ask us to come in and do an interior paint. Um, so we'll help set them up. We generally help them get all their stuff. They'll box their own stuff. They'll box everything up in
Okay.
their house. And if you don't have the garage space, we have the cargo trailers that we could bring in
Okay.
enclosed, and we move the house out of the we move all the boxes out of the house and get everything in the trailers or in the garage and all the furniture, and we could do a full on interior repaint. And this a lot of times happens during the winter, but a lot of times it happens in the spring when it's raining a lot, so
Oh,
but we'll do those generally when people go on vacations, or sometimes a client will say, oh, I got a mom that lives down the street, or in the other town, and I'm just going to go visit her for the week, and we'll do a full interior paint, doors, trim, the body, and then we'll do their carpet and whatever LVP work that needs to be done, if they got some tile work they want to get done. You got to remember, MAAK Services is more than just paint. But again, let me be firm on that. We love to end everything in paint. That's kind of our thing, That's like
yeah.
our end result is we want to be able to paint everything when we get everything done. So yeah, but yeah, that I would say that sets us apart. Most painting companies don't come in and tear carpet out and then roll out new carpet and have all that stuff set up for you. So that way, when you come back and we move, and before you come back, we'll move all your boxes in, put all your furniture back. Um, get you all kind of lined up. We don't go into the boxes. That's private for the client. And then when they get back, they just got to kind of unbox everything. And then from there, I would say that's probably the most unique thing about MAAK Services is the help moving people out to get their interior stuff done, because it's a hassle, especially if you got like a 4 bedroom, 2 story, and you got 3 kids and both parents are working. It's a lot to get done, try to get done by, just you and dad, so that's kind of where we kind of come in. We take on half of that stuff, half of that labor to get it out of there so that you can get that full interior work that you want to get done. Yeah.
No, I know. I love that because I think that's great because that's probably one of the biggest things that's going to stop someone from painting, you know, painting
100%.
or turning a small project into a big project is, oh crap. I don't want to deal with all I don't want to deal boxing all this crap up or moving it out of the way. And so they just ignore, they don't know. But someone like you with your services, someone might go from painting one room to painting their whole freaking basement or their whole, if you get everybody out of the house, you can box everything up, come back, have a brand new home.
Percent. And even if they don't want to go crazy and go like, wow, I want to do the interior, but I can't afford the carpet. But that's a
Right.
great time to shampoo the carpets. All the
Oh,
stuff's out. Have a professional company come in, shampoo those suckers up, move it in. At least you got, it's the works on
yeah.
carpet cleaning then, right? So there's some other avenues that we could flex, and do other things instead if you don't want to go that massive amount of full interior, but hey, a good carpet cleaning with nothing in the house is always pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
'Cause a lot of times I'm sure people come in to paint, and when you say you do other services, I'm sure there's like, that you move, let's say you move stuff out of the whole house or even a room, all of a sudden you notice there's holes in the wall,
oh
bunch
yeah,
of things. And so you guys will help take care of all that stuff, get it fixed up, and then paint it and move everything back.
percent, yeah. And a lot of times, like you mentioned earlier, we did some work for your mom and dad, and they're
Yeah.
an elderly couple. Um, they had us do their whole porch area, um, restain all the pergola and all that stuff. And your mom had all this stuff laid out, like little trinkets of this and that. And we do this all the time where my guys go in there and they take pictures of everything.
Oh,
And I made sure it was kind of a white glove deal because I didn't want your mom or your dad getting up on a ladder trying to hang something up, that was up before. So we pull all the stuff down. We ended up taking pictures. We pull all the stuff down, restained all the pergola, which is a huge one. It's how big it is.
oh
It's
yeah,
big.
it's
It's not a
huge.
tiny little thing. And the trinkets are immaculate. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So and that was probably one of the funniest things your mom told me. She says, I don't know how you guys did it, but they put everything back in the exact same spot. I said, "Oh, honey, it's just a photo." Oh, well, I'm like, yeah, they just take pictures and then they make sure they rehang everything for you. Wow, okay, I didn't expect that. Wow, I didn't want you guys getting up on ladders and stuff. I mean, your parents are, they're elderly folks, so I just didn't want them getting on ladders or trying to get up on a stool or something like that just to hang a trinket up. So yeah, but we do a lot of that stuff too. Get all your stuff. So say for instance, like if you got two living rooms and a game room and you got furniture spread out a certain way, a lot of times the guys will go in there and they'll just take pictures of everything so they can kind of know where everything needs to go. And then that way we're not mixed up. Even if it is mixed up and say like we accidentally, put living room stuff in a dining room area and vice versa, I'll get the call and we'll just get it moved. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, generally that's how we get it done for them.
No, that's awesome. My parents just talked really, really good about you and your team, and what a great job you did. And I appreciate you too for taking care of my parents so much. And then from there, I referred you to another customer of mine, and they sent you to help their parents or mother or something with some stuff. So you did so, and got raving reviews again. So great job.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is I just like again I love you just like it's nice to work for local business owners here in the Treasure Valley, but it's also nice to work for people that just care about other people. It might seem
Yeah,
simple, but
100%.
I mean I hear all the time, very often I hear about contractors didn't do what they promised, won't return my phone calls, on and on and on. So it's just refreshing to hear someone like you that just cares so much to the details of of doing what you said you're going to do, and a lot of times going above and beyond. So that's awesome.
No, yeah, no. And that's probably a trait. I'm kind of old school. I'm 52 years old, but I'm old school. My dad. I learned a lot through my dad, and I was kind of his sidekick as a youngster, so I was always with him when he was visiting his clients and wandering around with them and making sure things were done right. And I've seen some of the complications, the complicated client and so forth, and how he dealt with that. And I just kind of mimic a lot of how he did things, and it's just always trying to go above and beyond and just make sure people are happy. Yeah, that's exactly what we like to do here.
That's awesome. So hey, I want you to just like real quick because I've known you for a while now, but just real quick because you're really good at kind of coordinating all these moving parts and stuff. So in the past, what federal agency did you work for? You coordinated like lots and lots of moving parts.
Well, I work for a big outfit called MLU Services, and we're a contractor through FEMA all over the country. And we I've done stuff from Louisiana all the way out to the fires of California, and we're talking like Baton Rouge back in 2016 or 2017. I can't remember exactly what year, but they had a big flood, massive flood in Baton Rouge, and I that's kind of how I got coordinated with the way I run my business. Is we were I was sent over there for the safety aspects and to coordinate contractors and so forth. And the kind of things that I learned was to coordinate contractors that were small. So I would get like three man crews, and before you know it, I had like, oh gosh, it was like I think in Louisiana it was like 70 crews, and there were just three-man crews, and I would have crews that would just build the ramps for handicapped people. I'd have crews that just built stairs for people, and I'd have crews that put the mobile homes on the foundations, on the block foundations, and then I had crews that were just doing electrical. So and same thing. I had another cruise that just did plumbing, and I would have to meet with all those crews every morning, organize everything, and send out everybody. Like at 5 in the morning, I'd send out everybody out, And by 8 o'clock, everybody was on job sites and running around, and it was just massive chaos. But that's kind of how I learned how to kind of do what I do. So I'm really used to taking on a project. Early this spring, we did a project where we had to help move the client out. We ended up redoing all her carpets. We ended up redoing all her LVP flooring in her laundry room and one of her and two of her bathrooms. Then she decided she wanted to do some tile work. We do a tremendous amount of tile work. And she ended up doing a full master bathroom and also doing her kitchen. And then we had to paint the interior, and then she went all out and says, "I love everything that's going on. Let's do the exterior." So we ended up painting the exterior. Um, and and I'll be honest, this client, she is probably one of the greatest people I've met in a long time. I wish every client was like her. She was just easy to work with and easy to go. But I think we made it easy for her because she was very she didn't know exactly where to go, and I kind of sat by her side and walked her through, like, what carpets, what colors do you like, so and she'll tell you she went through three or four different body colors on the interior. The exterior, she was one of those clients that came at me and says, let's just paint it the same. And I look, and I remember looking at a photo of her house and going, did you notice your house is blue? And I think it was blue and white, and it had brown stone. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I never noticed the brown stone." I'm like, "And you have a lot." And she's like, "Yeah, I have a lot of stone. I never really paid attention to that." I said, "Plus, do we really want to go? You're doing all this magical stuff throughout the whole home, and we're just gonna go with the same colors on the exterior? Come on." And she's like, "All right, can you come up with something?" I said, "Let me play around with it." And it took me about 3 or 4 days. I was sending her colors. And then I believe I found a house that we had done either in the past or maybe just in the neighborhood. I can't remember. And I said, hop in the truck with me. Let's go for a ride. I'm going to show you something. And I think I showed her this house, and she just says, "Wow." I said, "You see how that matches your rock and it kind of goes with everything. And if you take those colors and go to your neighborhood, nobody has them." And she's like, "Yeah, let's go look at that." And I'm like, "All right." So we went back to her house and, just sat there and worked with her on it. But it was like that with the tile, with the carpet, the full, the color of the interior, and what do we do with the trim color, and do we want to paint the ceilings? Do we not? She ended up painting her ceilings different from her body, and she also had a different color on her trim, which it came out fantastic. And that's a big project. We ended up doing full interior carpet, LVP, exterior paint on the house, plus um repairs. We prepared all of her fencing, and then that was another big savings. Originally when she had came at me, she says, "I just want to replace all this broken fencing." And I walked through it. I'm like, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was like one or two posts and like four slats. I'm like, "And your fence is repaired." It's just kind of ugly because of all the sprinkler stains. I said, "We could power wash all that stuff off. We got special chemicals that we power wash all that stuff off, make it look even, and then let's just do a nice stain on it." And that saved her quite a bit of money, and that's where she ended up taking that money and using it on tile to do something in her kitchen instead. So, just reallocating the money that she had was a big deal because it was like she got her new fence, but she also got her kitchen done, which she didn't think she was going to get done, which was kind of cool.
No, that's awesome because that's really puts you apart because again, you're not just coming in because I mean a lot of times people aren't gonna know what they don't know, because you've done this for years and years and years. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, okay, let's just paint the same. I mean, but again, like you said, you want the wow factor. So if paint the same, that's gonna be wow. It's gonna be like, oh, it looks a little like someone washed my house, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but it doesn't look
and
new and refreshed.
yeah, and it does it. And then don't get me wrong, when a client's like, "Nope, this is what I want,"
Yep,
okay,
yep,
let's go for it. Let's do what you want. But I try to, man, I really want that feel of like you just drove up to a different house, and that
yeah.
that to me is the fun part. When you paint it the same, it's like, oh, okay, but I did one this year, a big house this year, and he wanted everything the same. And we kind of giggled about it. He's like, I know nobody's gonna really notice, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. He's like, but me and my wife notice, and we love it, and that's what
Huh?
was important.
Yeah.
Ironically, months later, I see him, at a meeting, and he tells me, "You'll never guess." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "The neighbors noticed that the house is painted."
Oh,
I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, like it's more vibrant, more just cleaner looking and
yeah.
just vibrant. So there is a difference, Jay." And I'm like, "Oh, at least you were getting that."
That's awesome. Hey, so I know this story, but I want you to tell the listeners is so why do people call you sometimes the 911 guy?
Well, I get called the 911 guy because I do work with quite a few different property management companies and
Okay.
some people that own maybe multiple homes or flippers and stuff like that. Um, So a lot of times, I do have a particular client that will just give me a call out of the blue and be like, "Jay, I just had people move," and planning is always really short and limited for these people. So he just calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, I'm gonna send you an address. They just moved out day before yesterday, and I didn't realize the house is a wreck. And I got new people moving in 2 weeks or within a week or whatever he says. And then he says, "Tell me what we need to do to make it, up to par to rent." Oh, okay. Go over there. Well, and then I'll send photos to the client. You got all these issues, you got this siding issues. The client must have had a pit bull because he was tearing up the back siding of the house. And so we got to replace, 5 rows of siding, and we got to fix all this trim in the backyard. And then we can repaint the house. And then unfortunately that pit bull didn't go to the backyard very often because there's all these stains on the carpet. What do you want to do with the carpet? We could try to clean it, but we could also get it clean. Nope, let's do a full interior and let's get the carpet in there. I'll say. So, and with that client, I do have particular parameters with him. Like he's got certain carpets, certain colors, for interior. Paint we play with a lot more better than the interior, but he's got certain carpets and certain linoleums and LVPs, and he's got just a long line list of stuff that we're allowed to just choose from. And it generally goes what's available like yesterday, not waiting and do an order and wait 6 weeks for.
Right.
Um, so a guy like that will call me and he'll call me on a Thursday and he wants us there Monday and start doing repairs and hopefully have the exterior done. Or if it's also an interior and exterior, we'll do the interior so that he could have the family moved in, and then while they're
Oh,
moving in,
that's
we'll do
smart.
the exterior after. So that's where we call it the 911 deal. So there's a lot of times they'll call me on a Thursday or Friday, and they literally want somebody. We could just paint the house on Monday. We'll be painting a house on Monday. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And that's more on just if we could especially just do a simple paint. If there's a lot of repairs and holes in the walls and carpet, it's going to be longer than 3-4 days. But if you call me and say, "Hey, the house is in good shape, we just need to get some paint on it," I could probably get it done. I could probably start within 72 hours.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive. Like I said, I've heard over and over again, other painting companies will say, depending when it is, but 2 weeks to 6 weeks out at times. So, and a lot of times, people don't have that luxury or don't want to wait. So it's kind of cool. You can kind of make that stuff happen.
Yeah, and I think that comes from the FEMA stuff.
Oh,
So it's a lot of it's on the fly. Like when you're doing FEMA work in Baton Rouge and you got a family living in a van and you got a mobile home coming up and it's just parked there, you try to figure out how to break that down so that maybe take that 3-man crew and break it down to a 2-man crew and grab another man and make another 2-man crew and start moving this stuff in so that the family can move out of the van. It's the same issue that I deal with here with what I'm doing. So a lot of times I'll break stuff down like I just said, like if I know I have a house that's going to get rented and he's trying to rent it by Friday and he's calling me on Friday and he's doing a full interior and exterior. Well, all right, let's go ahead and let's get the interior going now. Can we change the carpets? Because if I could change the carpets, it's even faster for me because we could just paint with the old carpets and just go to town.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
could rip the old carpets out.
Yep.
Yeah, I could rip the old carpets out and have my carpet guys come in and just carpet it right after. It's a, I'll be done by the next Friday. Generally, on a house that's like, 2,300 square feet. Yeah, that a week long project that can be done. You know,
Wow.
um, that's the 911 guy. That's me. I do a lot of that. And it doesn't happen every week, you know what I mean? But when it comes, that's
Yeah.
part of the fun
And
and the
then that's
challenge.
yeah, that's nice to have it, but also it's also nice to have someone that like says, "Hey, Jay, come and look at this stuff. Um, we like to get it painted over the winter. You know, when when would be a good time to come do it?"
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's like you said, most companies are 3 to 6 weeks out. We're generally 3 to 5 weeks out,
Right.
but I have 3-man crews. I learned this from the FEMA stuff. I have the
Yeah,
3-man crews, and if I get a 911 call, then 3-man crews, some of them are going to turn into a 2-man crew, and then I'm going to make another 2-man crew and start moving stuff. And
that's awesome.
and then I have my certain guys that I know that I could call, and I know what's going to happen, and it's going to get banged out pretty fast. And
Yeah.
then that's another thing, especially if the house is empty and we're doing an interior, I'll have guys painting all the way up till 3 in the morning.
Wow,
2 in the morning. There'll be guys there painting because they're trying to keep things moving, right? And we still have our day job. So yeah, there's 911, right?
that's awesome.
It doesn't end at 5 p.m. Not for
Yeah.
us.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, well, this has been great, Jay. I really appreciate it. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and talk about, painting something, anything, staining something, how is the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is probably send me a text
Okay.
at my phone number. I think you said you're going to put it down there on
Oh
the on
yeah, it'll
the.
be it'll be in the show notes and also underneath your picture.
That's the
So
best way. I mean, you could give me a call. More than likely, I'm going to answer. But sometimes I'm with the client. When I'm with the
yeah,
client, I'm with the client. That's it.
yeah,
So send me a text and I'll get right back to you. And it's within a half an hour, within 10,
yeah.
15 minutes most of the time. But yeah, probably text is probably the fastest way to get a hold of me.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate you being on today, Jay. And I know that the listeners will get a lot out of this because, like I said, there's a lot of people that are probably putting off painting, and hopefully this will get them motivated to give you a call.
Yeah, get motivated. Let's do something different for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Let's go. I
Awesome.
appreciate your
Appreciate you.
time.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jay. Hey, this has been another episode of Treasure Valley NA Quick Tips. Until next time, hey, thanks, folks.